We're back, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys? We are here at the Magic Desk. God damn it. I call this the Magic Desk. It is. It's the Magic Desk. You like? they got the lights up on the Magic Desk. I like the lights. It's like two bursts right behind me. I like that. There's two bursts. Oh man. I was looking out in the green room. I'll tell you, man. If we don't get some type of national gig, I don't know. I'm gonna go and work with Doctors Without Borders and treat Ebola people. I literally, I'm out in the other room. I'm looking at the TV during the break, and there's people on there that are talking and saying things that I've said, except they're not saying it with such passion. And the questions about travel and why this woman was allowed to be on an airplane and go and be with other people. It's just mind blowing. It's almost as mind blowing as us not being on a national radio station. It is. Damn it. It's just as mind blowing. That's Ebola is just as mind blowing as us not being on a national radio show. It is, and I'm not even talking about Sirius. Okay, I'm talking about like some AM station that gets syndicated by Clear Channel or something like that. I know people go, well, Rob, you can't swear on there. I wouldn't swear. And if you notice, I actually had some people comment on this to the email, and that was they go, I noticed you've been holding back on using certain language, like you'll say BS or things of that nature. And I said, well, yeah, I'm working towards the day when we're not allowed to use swear words. So I'm prepping myself. I know sometimes an occasional cocksucker or fuck come out just like now, but we're trying. We're trying to alter our language for that day to come when we get called up to the majors. That's what that's what it is. It's like it's being called up to the majors. That day when we get called and they go, hey, we'd like to put you on this station and syndicate your program out to these AM dials. That's the big call up. That's going to the majors. That's when we're like the KC Royals and we're just winning 3-0, baby. We're winning 3-0. Anyways, not to get off Ebola because it's such a wonderful topic, and it's actually something that I feel can affect millions of people in the United States. But another thing that transpired over the weekend that's getting a lot of attention I wanted to address, and that is the Catholic Church. And I know you're saying, Rob, what's going on with the Catholic Church? And I said, well, let me explain. Pope Francis, who is the new head man in charge over at the old Catholic Church, Vatican, religious cult, God, Jesus-y thing. He's the man. Now, some of you don't remember, he took over, okay? He took over for a priest that went by the name of Pope Benedict, okay? Now, Pope Benedict was our last pope, and he quit. Yes, I know. You never heard of that because it hadn't been done since 600 years ago. I'm not real sure the exact date, but 600 years ago was the last time a pope quit. And he was Pope Benedict. And one of the other issues that Pope Benedict had in his history was being part of Hitler Youth when he was around 14. Yes, he was part of Hitler Youth. He was a card-carrying Nazi who believed in killing Jews, running the world, and overall being an unpleasant person. He was the Pope, and he quit. Now, when he was the Pope, he carried the Catholic line, that being gays are bad, divorce is bad. The overall theme of the Catholic Church was followed to a T by Pope Benedict and other popes before him. Now, when he quit, and that's what he did, he quit, ladies and gentlemen, he quit. Think about the concept of the Pope. They are chosen because they are the ones that speak to God. There's some type of spiritual awakening that happens. I mean, being the Pope is basically being the most powerful man in the God-Jesus world who's actually somebody that you can see. Literally, when you talk about the Pope, there's nobody higher. You got priests, and you got bishops, and you got cardinals. You got the Pope. The Pope is the man. Who's after the Pope? Jesus. Who's after the Pope? God. If anybody is as close to God and Jesus, that would be the Pope. So, when this Pope quit, and that being Benedict, it sent shockwaves throughout the Catholic Church establishment. It really made the Catholic Church look even worse than it has looked for many years. Now, if it wasn't for all of the horrible things that were going on, this would be the biggest, most horrific thing to happen in the Catholic Church. But with all the molestation and condemning of gays and things like that, a pope quitting was like third or fourth on the list of like horrific things to the Catholic Church. Because you got to remember, a pope is like this calling from God. And ultimately, you can't just call God up and say, hey, God, I quit. I mean, you just can't do it. It's not like being the governor of Alaska where you can just quit. It's not like being the coach of a football team and you were from the college ranks and you get into the NFL and you're way over your head and you're like, I quit. You're God's right-hand man on earth. You don't just quit. You can't quit. It just doesn't happen, okay? There's kids that are mentally challenged, retarded children that compete in the Special Olympics, okay? Who finish like ninth and they get a ribbon. And they say, I'm never gonna quit. I knew I had to fit. I mean, mentally challenged people don't quit. So how does a pope quit? Well, Pope Benedict, Hitler Youth quit. So the Catholic Church said, all right, we need to do something, and we need to do something quick. Because in this past couple years, we've been getting hit with bad PR. We've been getting hit with making our church look really, 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 really bad. I mean, Godfather 3 and the Immobiliare scandal is just a blip on the radar. Priests raping young boys, popes quitting, condemning gays, condemning divorced Catholics. This is all not good, okay? This is not good. We need something, and we need something fast. So what they did is brought in the Fixer. Let's call him the Fixer. And his name is Pope Francis, okay? He is the Fixer. You know Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction? And he disposed of Marvin, who got shot in the face, you know, and Marcellus Wallace sent the wolf. That's what Pope Francis is. He's the wolf, and he fixes problems. So they brought Pope Francis in. Now, you got to understand something. Before Pope Francis was a man of God, he was also a bouncer in nightclubs. He was. No bullshit. He was a bouncer in nightclubs. He also was a janitor. I mean, the guy really did a lot of things that you and I would have jobs doing. But at some point, he said, hey, I think I want to try this priest thing. I think I want to get into the whole religious game. So Pope Francis rose in the ranks in the Catholic Church doing unorthodox things. But he was always on the radar on the PR end of the Catholic Church. And lo and behold, they went to Pope Francis and said, listen, we need to fix our image. We need to fix the church. We need a fixer. And Pope Francis said, I solve problems. I can help you fix this. So lo and behold, Pope Francis has come into the Catholic Church. And he is fixing things left and right. He got voted the Times Man of the Year. You know, Time Magazine voted Man of the Year. When polls were taken by Catholics, he basically got almost 30% in an uptick on Catholics saying the church was moving in the right direction. Okay? That's the biggest shift in over 10 years. Pope Francis basically got almost 30% of Catholics. Think about the billion plus Catholics in the world. And this Pope got 30% of them to go, the Catholic Church is going in the right direction. We're kicking ass. Woo! Okay? The Pope Mobile that was made after Pope John got shot. And this Pope Mobile that looks like a golf cart that's bulletproof was basically done away with. And Pope Francis drives around a Renault. And it's something that basically a friend of his gave him back in Italy. It's an old, crappy Renault. And that's what he uses to drive around and see people. Literally, that's what he uses. He doesn't use bulletproof glass. He goes into places where you literally see riots taking place because he's so accessible. He's gone to hotels on different church tours and actually gone down to the bell desk and said, "How much do I owe you?" And they're like, well, Your Holiness, it's about 450. He's like, here's 500. Keep the change. Later, buddy. Boom. Well, I mean, literally, this is the things this Pope has done. Well, it doesn't stop there. And over the weekend, they had a conference. And this conference was an assembly of about 200 bishops. And the Pope basically talked about gays and about people that were in the Catholic Church or in the Catholic Church that are divorced, and the fact that they are looked at as being sinners. And he talked about people that are living together or having a relationship with each other that doesn't include a Catholic marriage. They might have a civil union or a justice of the peace. Well, whatever it is that doesn't fall in line with the Catholic Church that they normally would have been condemned, this Pope is now laying out the groundwork to tell these bishops, to tell all of the people that are the higher ups in the Catholic Church that they all should be let in to the fold. The Pope said that homosexuals have gifts and qualities to offer. And the Pope said, please, fellow Catholics, he requests that they accept gays and recognize the positive aspects of same-sex couples. He put this memo together and basically told all of these bishops that he wants this to basically become law of the land. He talked about how the church should challenge itself and to find a fraternal space for homosexuals, but they shouldn't compromise their Catholic doctrine on family and marriage. So the Pope is saying, listen, we don't have to necessarily say that they should be treated any different than married couples, and we shouldn't necessarily say that they do things that are the same as a traditional family. But we shouldn't condemn them. We shouldn't say they should burn in hell. We should accept them. We should bring them into the fold. They have gifts and they have qualities to offer. We need to recognize that there are hundreds and thousands of gay Catholics that contribute to society and contribute in a way that Jesus Christ himself would see as positive. So this Pope is telling the bishops, hey, leave the gays alone. Don't condemn them. Welcome them. He's also saying that people who are gay and who are in the Catholic Church should not be looked at any differently than any other parishioner. And they should be able to, work in different aspects of the church, whether it's, secretaries or directors, whatever it is. And at one point, this is going back months and months and months ago, when the Pope was talking, he said, if a person is gay and seeks God and has goodwill, who is he to judge? And so that voice and that echo has basically gone to all the bishops and all the higher-ups. He also said people who live together and or are part of civil unions should not be condemned. And the phrasing living in sin should not be used. And these people also have positives when it comes to things they can contribute to society and the Catholic Church, and they should be welcomed also. In no way it should diminish the Catholic doctrine on family and marriage, but they shouldn't be condemned and they should be welcomed. So a woman who is divorced or a man who is divorced should not be ostracized from the church. Now, all of these things are very positive. All of these things are huge shifts with the Catholic Church. And all the people that believe in the hocus pocus witchcraft that is the Catholic Church and or organized religion are either outraged or overwhelmed with joy at these new initiatives by the Pope and the Catholic Church. And people that are against it are outraged, say this Pope Francis is ruining their beloved institution, and people that are for gay marriage and gay rights and equality and believing that if a woman got married when she was 19 and she fell in love and 2 years later she realizes that the guy she's married is a horrible person who beats the crap out of her on a daily basis and gets a divorce, she shouldn't be then ostracized for the rest of her life in God's eyes because of something that happened when she was 19, and she shouldn't be forced to stay with that person who was beating her because that is what the church says. So ultimately, you've got people that are praising this. You have people that are excited by this. Now, I have two things to add into this conversation. You could call it my 2 cents. One, the notion that people are talking about this as if it's some government policy, as it's some type of law that just got repealed, is kind of funny. We're talking about ultimately a superstition, a fairy tale. We're talking about religion. We're talking about something that is made up, has been made up, and is a feel-good tale. No different than any other religion that is out there. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Jew, rather you're a Mormon, rather you're a Scientologist. These are all made up stories that ultimately are here to control aspects of your life in one way, shape, or form. These are all things that were put on this earth by people that wanted to control someone's life. Every one of these things. And we are talking about what the Catholic Church has said from a guy who used to be a bouncer at Giggles and acting as if the government has just legalized drugs and opened the prison doors for all nonviolent drug offenders. Literally, we're talking about a fictitious doctrine created by people trying to control other people, and we're acting like this is some big deal. We're talking about a fairy tale. We're talking about something that equates to Santa Claus. We're talking about something that equates to the Easter Bunny. We're talking about something that equates to UFOs. Except when somebody says they've seen a UFO, people will say they're crazy. But when somebody says they talk to God, they go, oh, really? Tell me about it. When somebody says, I seen bright lights and I got visited by an alien, people go, cuckoo! But when somebody goes, I died, and when I died, I saw God, and I had a conversation with him, and I had a conversation with my great uncle, and then I saw my dead mom, and they all told me that I needed to go back to Earth and live my life, that I wasn't ready. And that's why I'm here, and that's how I came back. And everybody goes, oh my God, we've got to make a movie about that. That is so amazing. You are an angel. Precious. Okay. But ultimately, it's the same thing as UFOs. It's the same thing as the fairy tooth godmother. It's all of those things. And the other aspect of this Pope Francis Catholic Church 2-cent conversation, which is the Catholic Church isn't shifting because they have compassion for gays and they have compassion for married couples. The Catholic Church is shifting because of two words: gay people and people that used to be married and they're divorced have gifts and qualities to offer. You know what those gifts and qualities to offer are? Money! The Catholic Church is a business, okay? The Catholic Church is a business. And just like any other business, you have to make money. You have to make lots of money. That's capitalism. And when you get too much bad PR, it destroys your brand. And when your brand gets destroyed, you lose money. And eventually, your brand becomes Tab Cola, and it's just there to give you cancer. So, in this past, 20 years, 25 years, the Catholic Church has been getting a horrible name. From condemning gays, to condemning married couples, to condemning birth control, to condemning minorities, and fucking young children. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, dating back 50 years. That's all we're going, 50 years. We're not talking about 600 years. We're not talking about 200 years. We're talking about 50 years. It's not that long ago, okay? I'm 41. So we're almost talking my lifetime. So let's just say my lifetime. In my lifetime, there have been 3,000 priests that have gotten in trouble for having sex with children. And these priests have been involved with having sex with kids, and when they get caught, they're just shuffled off to different churches. You've had higher ups in the Catholic Church. You've had cardinals. You've had bishops that have been involved with covering for priests that have been raping young boys. This is a fact. 3,000 facts. In the span of 50 years, 3,000 priests have been involved in child molestation. Case after case after case. There's actually priests that are doing time, not just because they had sex with young children, but there's actually priests that are doing time because they were involved in the cover-up. So when you're looking at Pope Francis and the Catholic Church and them making all these dramatic shifts, what it's called is damage control. What it's called is protecting their brand. What it's called is keeping their multi-billion-dollar business intact. They own billions upon billions upon billions of dollars worth of land. They owned billions upon billions upon billions of dollars of holdings that are invested in different mutual funds and different entities around the world. The Catholic Church is the biggest brand on earth. It's not the NFL. It's not Microsoft. It's not Google. It's not Yahoo. It's called Jesus. It's called the cross. It's called the Vatican. And this shift in tone is merely a way to create a subterfuge and to give people the feeling that the Catholic Church is going through this transformation and they're cleaning up their act. And ultimately, the only thing the Catholic Church wants is gifts and qualities that all these people can offer. And that means money. And if we cannot focus on the 3,000 priests that have sex with young children, their pope that was part of Hitler Youth, and everything in between, then we will forget about those elements and will only focus on the Catholic Church saying, we love gays. And all you divorcees, you can marry. We love everybody. Come on. We got a big tent, and we want you all to be in it. Come on. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the Catholic Church. It's damage control. It's brand protection. Nothing more, nothing less. And ultimately, it's all about a superstition. It's the Rob Black Show, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by the beautiful, the sexy, the talented Katie Summers to bring us the news of the day, and there's a lot of news. I got a lot of stories here that she's given me. I got a lot of things that are going to interest you. A lot of things that are going to woo you. And we're going to get to them in about, say, 3.5 minutes. It's the Rob Black Show. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be right back. Oh, yeah, baby. We're going to be right back.